So I am here with Jan Hronchak. He is the head of our parking division, and I'm going to be asking him some questions about parking around and Fleximoto in the hopes that we can get some clarity on these things and really learn more about what smart parking is all about. So Jan, thanks for being here.
Thank you for the invitation, Luke.
Anytime. So let's start with the basics. What is Fleximoto and what does it actually do?
Fleximoto is a one-stop shop for smart digital parking. It's our hardware. I would say it's our hardware suite for digitizing the parking. So it consists of the sensors, displays, flip-to displays, and underlying software which supports the digitalization of the parking.
Okay, very clear. And what about parking around? How is that different from Fleximoto?
Well, parking around is an end-to-end solution, which is leveraging the data from digitalization, which are brought from the sensors. But it also integrates other systems like parking access management systems and other hardware, and then leveraging those data to better utilize the parking lots via means of sharing or just more efficient way of booking, payments, and so on.
Okay, so like Fleximoto is more the hardware side of things, and it sounds like parking around is more about like having a full parking management tool.
Yeah, like Fleximoto is the infrastructure, and parking around is the management tool about it.
Gotcha. So going back to a more like broad scope on this stuff, why do you think parking is still such a painful, outdated experience for people?
Whoa. Well, the technology is here to make it smart and smooth and without a headache. But it's just such a fragmented industry, and technology wasn't here for quite some time. It's just with the IoT phenomenon where we can really digitize those parking spots and make qualified and informed decisions. I think that's just the question of the time, but it's just because it's a very fragmented, very huge, and very undigitized market at the moment.
Right. Especially here in Europe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, what I see as an American is everyone's buying cars in the same way they do in the US, but the roads are smaller. The cities are more condensed, and also these roads are typically older, so it's like they're not quite as large in wide.
Yeah, but that pushes for the innovation. Like in States,
Exactly.
Usually you have huge parking lots.
True.
Which is also not totally, not ideal.
Right.
So like me as a European, I like the way that we try to squeeze the most of the potential from the parking spots, so we can really have our city centers free from cars.
Yeah, that'd be
streets
great.
free from cars and so on.
Absolutely. So I mean, yeah, like talking about all that and why it's a pain, like so for someone who's stuck circling the block looking for a space, like how is Fleximoto going to actually help them?
In many ways, basically we give you real-time information about the occupancy, so you don't have to circle, right? You know where you can park. It can be provided via information in the mobile app. You can see it on the displays on the street. Also, it helps city better, to do the better urban planning. So it's not just guessing like, okay, maybe we need more parking spaces here because people have a problem in the morning. But then you realize that like 2 streets next to this one, there is always there's abundance of the free spots. So you just need to direct people to the right direction. So this is it. You know where the spot is free, so you can go there without a headache, and at the same time you save environment, your nerves, and gasoline. It's
right. So it's basically like making parking a more transparent experience.
It is
in some ways. Yeah. Okay. And so Fleximoto comes from a background in space and satellite engineering. So can you tell me more about that?
That's true. Fleximoto is a solution the product. Fleximoto is a solution and product portfolio from a company called GOSPACE Labs. This space is not there by chance. we started in space. Our team is behind the first Slovak CubeSat nanosatellite, and after like first we conquered the space, and then we were thinking about like what to do next.
Right.
And then it was at the same time when the IoT phenomena was like hyping out.
Right.
And we thought, okay, let's have a look where all of this knowledge we gained in a space could be used. And parking is just such a huge market.
Right.
We knew, like, we did our Pavel and our CEO and Alex and Andre, our engineers, they did like profound research and decided to go for the parking to build the first IoT parking sensor. So that was the beginning.
Okay, nice. So taking like all that expertise in battery longevity, miniaturization, basically just applying that.
Bringing rocket science into urban challenges. That was I think that's still one of the best motto for the headline.
Absolutely. So, so far we've been talking about cities mainly, but Fleximoto is in over 50 countries. So what types of places use your solution?
When we talk about the Fleximoto, it's mostly cities, meaning like our customers are usually smart city integrators who are then deploying our infrastructure in the city, usually in the city centers of the cities. Our main market is the European market. We have also deployments in the Middle East, and we are scouting the options in the US and Canada. Yeah, well, me saying that, I think our company grew to the point where for some tenders or for some cities in the region which is close to us, we even tend to be the direct participant in the tenders. So then the city is our direct customer. Right. But yeah, that's where we excel.
Okay.
Fleximoto.
And what about for parking around? What would be the difference?
Parking around is more focused on residential and commercial real estate. So we go from on street, although there are some options how to pay for the parking on street through parking around, but it main focus is on commercial real estate, where basically you have, let's say, more employees than you have parking lots, and residential developments, mostly new residential developments or build to rent ones where we can easily deploy the solution, and we help to improve the utilization of the parking and get smoother experience with the parking for people.
Clear. Okay. Talk to me about Kevin, your ideal customer.
Kevin.
Who is he?
I thought it's Joshko.
So Kevin is your ideal customer. So really, we just want to know about your ideal customer. Who is he, and what problems are you trying to solve for him?
Okay, for Fleximoto, it's so the end customer is city, but the very end customer is the citizen of the city, right?
Right.
But we sell it mostly to the integrator. So it's a company which integrates different systems to provide comprehensive smart city solutions to the city. So that's for the Fleximoto. For parking around, for residential developments, again, the final user is the resident, right? But our customer is a residential developer who sells the intelligent parking feature to the clients, to the new residents or new owners of the apartments. Okay. So that's for the residential one. For commercial or office building, it's tenant, like somebody who has like company, let's say of 1,000 people and 100 parking spots, so they can use our system, or landlords, the owner of the building, who utilize our system to operate and better manage the parking lot.
Okay, so it sounds like parking around really is extremely versatile in terms of like who can actually make the most of this solution.
Yeah, but I would like to simplify it to these two main focus areas: office or commercial parking and residential one. And I would say we have a very unique position, strong position in the residential parking, because it's a combination of the hardware together with the management software, and it can be deployed partially. So not every resident has to be sharing if they don't like. That's very crucial. With office building, it's sometimes easier.
Right.
With the residential one, some people they want to share it, some they don't want to share it. So till the moment those who don't want to share get to the feeling or educate enough, so they would start share. Right. Till that moment, we need to operate on partial basis, but the system allows that. That's very important.
Okay. And what's the biggest misconception that people have when they hear about smart parking? Because that's kind of a buzz term these days. So, like, what do you think people need to be clarified on in this?
Well, we got many calls to our support department that people would like to, they got a fine and they want to pay for the ticket. It's just like,
I mean, it's tough to say because, like, our solutions here are plug and play to a large degree, right? But I think people underestimate the work that it can be involved when it comes to integrations and, like what that actually takes. Because you hear people talk about integrations all the time, but like, what does that actually mean?
Okay.
I think that might be a place to start. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Also, I'm thinking about another one when, first thing is like people are very sensitive to parking. So if you cannot find parking spot or like the parking barrier doesn't work, you get nervous very quickly.
Yeah. That's very true.
But I think like with the advancement with AI and so on, we are getting very, very close to super seamless experience. But yeah, for like everybody's like, yeah, this is such a simple idea. Why we didn't start to share it like 10 years ago? I thought about it. Like we had like sharing is here for quite some time already, and I think this century is about sharing. Using the resources much more efficiently than we do, and we had I like to do this comparison with Airbnb, right? Like we got Airbnb for apartments, so why we don't do that for parking? But that's also what I thought at the beginning. But then, with Airbnb, you have one apartment, one person per one day. That's the granularity. When you go for parking, you have multiple stakeholders like residents, visitors, employees, maintenance personnel. Sure. Somebody wants to park for an hour, somebody for a month, somebody for a year, and you have multiple entrances and so on. So yeah, it's a complex problem. We found pretty straightforward and we made it the solution which is simple. But the misconception is that yes, it can be done like that. I think we still need some time, and the most important here will be the communication. Like we need to educate people to switch the mindset. Like the parking is not privileged. Like it's not like you own the apartment that you will have a parking spot for sure. Right. At least in this area in the Central Europe, that needs to change. And at the same time, I think we need to pave the way to like full automation, where basically you just, let's say that's the ideal setup, right? If you ask direction for for the cinema, and you get booked your spot and automatically in advance, and you will be navigated to that thing. I mean,
sounds nice.
Yeah, and then in the future, when with autonomous vehicles, maybe we can even get rid of most of the parkings. Just we need to have some for charging, but ideally, that would be ideal not to have a parking.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of different possibilities. And I guess what I wanted to ask is like on the topic of like you were mentioning renting spots and sharing spots and all that as a part of parking around. And I think one question a lot of people would have is, are sensors necessary for that system to work? Like what's the actual infrastructure needs to make a system like parking around work?
Okay, so as I said at the beginning, parking around works also with it's hardware agnostic, so it can work with a different hardware, but it can also work without the hardware. It's just about the features and functionalities which you need for a specific use case. So for some use cases, for some office buildings where you have a floating parking and you don't need to know the occupancy per each individual spot, you might not need the sensors. And I mean, it's again, if you have them from operational efficiency, it's better. But maybe you need to you need to make sure it makes sense for the specific use case. In that case, over there we simply integrate with parking access management system. That could be one example. Also, there are cameras. Like you have detection cameras which tells you like how many parking spots are occupied on street. So sometimes it's better. Like it's economically. It's economically better option to combine some cameras and some sensors in some cases where you have like a big parking lot than just do the build with the sensors only. So I mean, but the Flexi Modo comes from flexible and modular, and I said at the beginning, we are a producer of the hardware, the parking IoT parking sensors, flip dot displays, e-permit cards. But we also integrate and we resell parking hardware infrastructure. So parking barriers, kiosks, ticketing machines, and so on, and NPR cameras. So that's really why we call it one-stop shop.
Gotcha. And that actually segues nicely to my next question, which is I want to talk more about the sensors themselves. Like, what is the core technology that's powering these sensors, and how is it different from let's say cameras or license plate readers, stuff like that?
All right. So, well, cameras and license plate readers, they are all using the image recognition technology. So they have to have a visual contact. Our sensors work on dual or triple sensing tech. We have a magnetometer and nano radar, where basically once you park your car above the sensor awakes because the magnetic field is disturbed. And then we shoot a nano radar beam to actually verify if the car is parking or it was just some pass by or like drive over the sensor. So that's the technology. Also, this allows us to build the sensors which are lasting for years. So like the sensors you see over here can last for over 10 years on one, like within with one battery. So that's an amazing achievement. That's basically the change of the paradigm. Like you have like low cost and widespread digital enablers, and that's how you can get like more environment information, like how to adapt. Like for example, for parking or we have even another division which is water management, but about that later.
Yeah, sure. I mean, and and you mentioned the batteries. So I mean, these are completely wireless, and as far as I know, like there's no cameras or ANPR readers out there that are completely wireless or battery operated.
No. But we have a project. We are looking at it. Like it's in our R&D department. So might be that we'll come with the battery powered camera, NPR camera.
That's exciting. Talking about impact, you mentioned earlier reducing pollution and saving gasoline, and I guess like I'd like to know more about how does the system actually reduce emissions and traffic in a city?
Well, there are multiple studies which shows that just circling for parking, obviously it creates traffic jams. Also you are looking for parking around your block or around your work, and if you count the time you spend and the pollution the car is making during the parking, during the strolling for parking, we got to the number which is over like 30% of CO2 pollution in the city is caused by the inefficiency of looking for a parking lot.
Okay, so the idea is basically when we can cut down even just a few minutes of that.
Yeah, it's actually we can cut down quite a lot. And the other important part is as you make the utilization of the parking spot more efficient with parking around system, you don't have to build that many parking spots. So again, like you're saving quite a lot of emissions and materials when you are not building when you build like let's say half amount of parking lots. And again, the space which would be otherwise used for parking now can be used for more environmental friendly things like, I don't know, even just planting the tree there.
Yeah, or like
Or just
expanding,
like getting cars out of the street,
right?
you know,
Expanding like parks and all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's cool because it's like it's both like short-term and long-term benefits in the sense of like what you said, like you don't have to build more. Because yeah, construction, I feel like that's something people don't think of when they think about emissions and pollution, but construction is huge on that. So on top of just reducing congestion and, you know, time spent idling in your car, you're also avoiding those long-term kinds of causes for pollution. Yeah. We've already talked about the users for parking around. I guess, is there anything else you'd like to share about that? Like, is there like can you describe like the perfect user for parking around as a platform?
Okay, me, I don't know, everyone who owns the parking or who needs to park. That's the perfect user.
Mm-hmm.
But I can be more specific. So I mean, the new apartment owners and who owns the parking lot, they can benefit greatly from our system. There are multiple benefits because you're not buying just a dull piece of concrete, but smart asset which you can monetize. You have more flexible parking within your residence. You have it secure because it helps again to even detect, like for example, for EV charging EV vehicles, we can detect the temperature if the battery is overheating under the car. Those are like really important benefits. Also comfort. So that's the perfect user number one.
Mm-hmm.
And number two is the landlord and like the end user of the landlord of the office building and the end user, the employees of this building. Where basically they can just ask for the reservation and they know if they can go to work and park or they have to find some other alternative. And this year we are onboarding another city, like first big city of Bratislava. So you will be able to do also like entire parking operations. You can pay on the street, off street, at your work, at your home, and so on.
And we've also kind of talked about, we've hit on this point earlier, but we can get into it a little more, like, because a lot of city infrastructure is very, like, it's a legacy infrastructure, it's fragmented. So you mentioned, integrations earlier, like what kind of existing infrastructure can be integrated with these systems?
Mm-hmm. Well, almost anything, like,
Mm-hmm.
just a question of like if it's cost efficient, but basically most of the time what we do the integrations with parking access management systems,
Mm-hmm.
with a building access management system. So meaning like barriers,
Right.
like payment kiosks, or actually the system which allows you to enter into the building. Then the other side, like if we talk about geographies, it could be integrations with the different payment gateway providers.
Mm-hmm.
It can be integrations with video feeds from already installed cameras. That's about it, or EV charging stations as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all integrated within one user interface.
And what is the benefit of integrating EV chargers with our solutions?
Well, it's about okay. So when we talk about Fleximodo,
Mm-hmm.
simply placing this sensor on the EV charging spot,
Mm-hmm.
if the spot is occupied or not,
Okay.
and it actually gives you the information if the car which is parking, if it is charging, it from the EV charger. But if the
Mm-hmm.
car is just parked there and it's not charging, you have no information without our sensor. So this way, we can protect the EV charging infrastructure, which is still scarce.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the number one. You can also use this e-permit tag, which is like identification tag you can have in a car. And when the car parks above the sensor, we know it's allowed car to park on this specific spot. Like for example, for disabled people or for EV chargers as well.
Mm-hmm.
Actually now we're also developing the feature where you would be able to identify yourself through the phone if you park over the sensor.
Mm.
So that could be again for the EV chargers. And parking around, it improves the rotation or utilization of the spot. So you can book in advance, and let's say if you go to work today and you spend there 7-8 hours, but you charge your car in 3 hours, we have the system to rotate the people in the garage.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've heard that that's becoming a really big problem because EV chargers are getting so good now. So it used to take like 6 or 7 hours. Now it's 3 hours. But people, usually want to stay for longer.
Yeah.
So you end up with a spot that's occupied, nobody's using it, but then other people who need to use it can't, right? So yeah,
that's right. It's coming because very often you see still like people manage to like charge their cars at home, or they sometimes use those ultra fast chargers. But slowly we see that they are starting to using the chargers at the office buildings or like shopping centers.
Gotcha.
But so it's just coming, like we know it's going to be here.
So yeah, we've been talking about bigger projects, I think, generally, but how do we make sure that this system is affordable and scalable, especially for smaller cities or private lots?
Well, because we made the model which is affordable and scalable. I think that's why. Look, you can get the price of the sensor back within one fine for violation. It's like very fast ROI.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Apart from that, also, if you save one parking spot, it's usually it's around like 20,000 euros cost for the city. So, for that price, you can digitize like 100 parking spots and utilize them better. So it means like, let's say you improve the utilization by 10%, it's like 10 spots extra. So it's just it just makes sense. And for parking around, when we talk about the residents or offices, improving the utilization by 20-30%. When you look at the prices you have today for a parking, you get the investment back like very quickly. And we also do like within a year or so. And then we do also models where if we know about the location, which is interesting, we can even take the risk from the customer and do the deployment and operation on our own, because we trust what we do. We trust ourselves that we can squeeze it a little bit more and make benefits for everyone.
Very nice. So we've been talking a lot about like kind of like the generalities of this stuff, like the use cases, the technology itself. Like, let's get into some actual deployments we've had. So what's the most exciting use case or city deployment that you've made so far?
City deployment. So with Fleximodo, I would talk about like the biggest one.
Okay.
It was in Pardubice.
All right. How many sensors is it?
Over 3,000 sensors and 5,000 e-permit cards. So it's I think still one of the biggest projects with identification, like sensors together with the e-permit cards. That was very interesting. And also we've been talking to the city officials last year, and they confirmed that it was deployed in 2021, and they confirmed that actually the money came back within 2 years. So like actually the cost of the project was reflected back in revenue increase in the third year. In the third year, they had so much extra, like the extra income from the parking was the cost of the project 3 years ago.
Wow.
That's it's also about psychology, because people started to pay for the parking, right?
Right. They see the sensor and they could possibly know exactly what you did there. So yeah.
And apart from this, they also get a lot of intelligent data, so they understand like how the traffic moves and where actually they have a really problem with the parking, where not. So that's also very important for the city. But we have also many interesting ones. I'm very proud of Lisbon. I like Portugal. I like that place, and we managed to basically be successful because other competitors, they had a problem with the resealing of the sensors. So this is now I'm going really into like technicalities, but the sensors working on narrowband IoT are basically connecting to to the BTS stations of the mobile operator.
Right.
And the mobile operator had some parameters of the network which were not totally optimal.
Sure.
And because we have this knowledge even from the space, right? We could advise them how to adjust it. And now we are running like pilot with 700 sensors in the city center of Lisbon, and
Excellent.
growing more. And it's basically like all country is now deploying our solution.
Mm.
But then we have Hamburg. There's some I don't know, Valencia, like many cities in Greece, Italy, and the Abu Dhabi project in they had the hospital in Abu Dhabi.
Sure.
That's a big one.
So that's all Fleximodo.
That's all Fleximodo. And when we talk about parking around, well, I'm really proud of the residential project, like the first residential project we did here in Bratislava. It's called Sky Park. It's from Zaha Hadid Architects. About 350 units and 400 parking spots. Very, very nice project in the city, in the new downtown of Bratislava. So that's the project which proves that like it can work. And from the other ones, I like I would say maybe project with Henkel, which had like headquarter here in the city. They had multiple buildings with multiple parking access management systems, where we just unify them under one roof and make it simple for everyone. And actually their utilization grew from like seriously, like it was something like 53% was the maximum utilization per day. So it was almost like 100 parking spots going out going in the air,
right,
through the chimney, to almost 90%, which is like a huge improvement.
Yeah, that's super impressive.
But then we have some deployments in Italy with our partners, which I'm very proud of. We had some deployments in France, obviously in Czech Republic. So this is something I'm really happy about, because parking around is also one of the youngest solutions, it's the youngest solution in the parking division. So yeah, that would be it. And I'm looking forward for another to come.
Yeah, absolutely. So moving on to more like kind of, I guess, future trends. With AI and machine learning built in, what kind of predictions or optimizations can your system actually make?
Well, there are multiple areas where we are using AI. So from, I don't want to say simple, but like just gathering the data from our database simply by asking through the command line. It's already very beneficial for our support team. We are exploring the use of assistance at the gates. So basically, when you have a problem with the gate, you don't want to like ring for 5-10 minutes. You want to have like the AI assistant there, which this sounds very promising. And then from more like prediction models, this is very interesting, like very interesting data models, which are helping us to understand like what is the probability that the particular parking spot will be occupied in the future. So let's say like, what is the chance that in this parking lot I will have a free spot next Thursday, or so on. So this helps us then also to build new features for the system, where basically for residents we can do this super easy share, where you just share your spot, you don't even think about it, you go away with your car, you're always sharing it. Like the moment you leave, your spot is shared, and then let's say you're coming back in 1 hour and you want to park, but we place somebody on that parking spot. We calculate the probabilities, and we know there's going to be some other one which is free. So this way we can always guarantee you a spot, even if you're sharing it with the others. That's the interesting one. And the probability for the future, it helps us to better set up the pricing, and that's the big phenomena of the dynamic pricing, right? Because this is how you also control the demand, and
right. And it sounds like having sensors in that case would be amazing, because then you're giving the AI so much more data to work with, right? And
definitely.
And then it's able to release, and then also when you talk about dynamic pricing, like you'll be able to provide the evidence to like justify why those prices are changing, right? It'll allow you to be a little more transparent, which I think, because I think when people hear dynamic pricing, they get scared.
Well, look, and also what we want to get to, like the parking around, I would like to see this sort of marketplace where you can compare the different prices. So this should be at the end of the day also helping to go with a price, like to get the best price possible. Right?
Okay. Yeah, and that actually brings me to my next question, which is like, we've already talked about sustainability, especially like in terms of reducing emissions, reducing pollution, reducing construction, and all that kind of stuff. So like ESG is a big thing in Europe and the world, I think now. But so we've already kind of covered the environmental side of things. Can you say more about the social side of the ESG? And like, does that factor into any of these solutions?
Social, well, sharing is caring, no?
Yeah.
I think that says it.
Right.
It's about sharing. It's about better utilizing the assets we have here on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
So that's about it. With the residential projects, definitely, I'm the neighbor. I'm going for holidays or like to buy the groceries.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with my neighbor to park his car there or his visitors, for a while. I'm not at home. I think that's pretty social. It's nice.
Mm-hmm.
People should do that.
It's a very tangible benefit.
Yeah,
like if you can, you don't even need to know the person, right? But you just know you can count on someone in your building to be able to share that, and then you could do the same for them, like kind of a.
We were even thinking at some point, like to even like nudge people to do that, like give them some sort of like social or like green score. How much you really share. From the time you could share.
Right.
That could be. We might play with those as well. And for companies, it's simply providing transparent politics. So that's also very social, where you understand like, okay, here it's equal. If I parked 3 times this week and my colleague didn't park, he parked only once, so next time we want to park, he will have a priority. So it's some sort of equal. And it's funny because parking, and it can actually prove if the companies are living the values they're proclaiming, or because with the parking it's very personal. It touches like the top CEO through the entire company, every employee in the company, and there you can see like if sharing is for everyone or just for or not for the management. So
right. Yeah.
That's also interesting aspect. And through this, you can learn people how to share. So because till today you were used, this is my spot, I'm going to park here. No one else is using it.
Sure. Especially if you pay, an exorbitant price for that. Like a lot of people are like, but yeah, I mean, it sounds like there's a lot of different ways to incentivize, and there is definitely a way how to educate people to share. Yeah. Because like this is the thing which you are used to have like for you, only for you. Right.
Now there is an option to share it. Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll be very interesting. And so you kind of already touched on this, but what is your vision for like the future of parking around? Like, where do you see this solution going in the next 5-10 years?
Well, it should be the new standard for residential parking, definitely. Mm-hmm. That's where I want to parking around like be in 5 years. Mm-hmm. Also, somehow get into the market within the cities and office buildings, and providing like most of the European cities with seamless parking experience. But we'll see. Like 5 years is quite a long journey.
Sure.
And I'd like to see some integrations with the big players as well. Like Easy Park or even like I don't know like. Being inside the Google Maps, and some big players in the field of parking access management systems, like big ones like I don't know like Ski Data, Shannon Bachman, Designa, or local players as well here. So that's we should be like add-on which is in the list of each of those players.
Mm-hmm. And I guess we're coming to a close here. So I guess if I'm a city planner or a real estate developer or a logistics operator, why should I consider working with Fleximoto? Let's start with that.
Yeah, because you want to plan, right, the city according to like some data. So we provide you with the data, with the infrastructure to give you the data.
Gotcha.
That's why.
Okay. And a real estate developer?
Well, because you can build more green, more innovative projects, which brings tangible benefits to your clients.
and a logistics operator?
Well, because you have real-time information about what is happening where. That's
okay. So finally, then, how can our listeners get to know more about this? Where can they find out more about these solutions?
Call me. +421. It's like, but really, for real, like you can call me. But then we have our web pages, our LinkedIn channels, and and the colleagues from sales like you know, Luke, and me here.